This latest episode is related to free tools. So free tools improve SEO. They bring visitors to your website if you're doing it right. And I built two free tools, one related to colors and one related to Notion and YouTube. So listen, watch, and check it out. Today is all about free. Free tooling is a SEO strategy. So in an earlier episode or more earlier episodes, I did some investigation into SEO and how to improve SEO. And one of the suggestions there is to build free tools. Build a free tool, build something that people will visit. And on top of that free tool, you just link to your site, you make it part of your site, you link to your product, you make something interesting. And as a bonus, you can then, with the people that are visiting that free tool or using that free tool, promote anything you'd like. So with the new Debugging Dan website, I figured free tools. So I already had a free tool laying around, something with generating color palettes. And this week, my wife ran into an issue with something between Notion and YouTube playlists. She wanted to be able to sync them to track the progress. There wasn't something there working. So I have experience with Notion and YouTube API. So I figured I'd also build that, make it a free tool on debuggingdan.com. So the two tools that I built, I'll start showing you the color palette tool. The first free tool, the Refactoring UI color palette. So like 1.5 years ago, I was struggling with building Teletron and using colors because I wanted to make the design more interesting. And I read about the Refactoring UI course. And there were some suggestions there is that the main thing is that a color palette is not like 5 colors, because then your site gets to look like a circus, but it's pick a few colors and use different accents of those colors for your UI elements. If you're watching this via the podcast, you can visit my website, debuggingdan.com, to see what it looks like, or you can watch the YouTube video, but I'll also try to do a voiceover of what I'm showing here. So the Refactoring UI color palette is what I called it, and it's inspired by a blog post. I'll link that in the description. And it starts with gray. So every site needs a lot of gray tints. So like text, backgrounds, panels, form control, shadows. You need different gray tints to make the UI pop, basically. And then I split it into two different colors, a primary color and an accent color. And what this UI color palette does, you can pick a color using a color picker. And then it will generate the different accents from lightish, light, a base color, which is the color you picked, dark, darkish, and darkest. And you can then click on the button and you can make that color the base color, or you could choose to randomize and it picks a random color to display. So you can click around a few times, see a color that you like, and maybe iterate on that by clicking on one of the tints of the colors, for example. And then there's an accent color. So the base color is a primary, and the accent color is then related to the accents that you want to bring, for example, to notifications or different items. So the accent color works the same. You can pick a color, or you can choose to randomize if the color doesn't really fit. So here I have pink and orange, for example. And if you scroll down on the page, you get an example of what that would look like. And you can toggle also between a light color and a dark color. And those are automatically generated by using the inversion of the color that was picked. So in this example, the purple and the orange turn into green and blue. It has some example buttons. And then at the end, it generates some CSS with CSS variables for the different colors and some samples of a button or an A color, where you get the box, you give the button the accent color, and the A color gets the href gets the primary color. and then it generates also a media query if you prefer the dark color scheme, and then it changes the colors to the dark colors. So I figured that was useful. I use it sometimes if I need to pick a color. And so I figured I already had that. It was an open source GitHub project. It was I deployed it to Versal to also see what Versal is. So I had it, and I figured I'll deploy it. Maybe somebody finds it useful, and perhaps also visits the site and becomes a podcast listener, or checks out one of the other projects. Yeah. So the other tool, that's more of a complexer tool. So the demo is also a bit complexer. So when you have a playlist on YouTube and you want to sync those different videos to a Notion database, this is the tool. First, we need to give it access to Notion, and Notion allows you to add a personal internal integration to your workspace, and then you explicitly need to give it access to a database or something like that. So let me show you how that works. So you visit Notion, and here I have a page that's is called YouTube to Notion. And I first show you how to add the integration. So here at the bottom, there's connections. You can choose connect to, but you can also choose to manage connections. And then you can click develop or manage integrations. And you end up on a Notion page, and you create a integration, and here we call it YouTube to Notion, for example. Type is internal. You don't really need to upload a logo, and you save it. So it cannot contain the word Notion. So we, So we use a shorter name, and then we need to configure its settings, and we can copy the internal integration secret. I'll just show it. I'll regenerate it later. I'll copy that, and that's what you need to input into the internal integration secret box. You click the button, it checks the token, and then next step is to input the database URL. So going back to Notion, I create a new full page database in which we will store the videos. So I copy the URL, and then I paste it into the database URL box. It checks the database, but now it shows an error because we haven't given the permission yet for the app or the integration to access the database. So that's what you do when you link it via the connect to option. We try it again, and now we will also add some additional columns. So it automatically adds date and video ID. You can hide those later on if you want. Remove the text that was there automatically. And then we're all set up on the Notion part. So in the example here, I take my podcast playlist and I will import those videos. So you paste that into the playlist box. You save it, and then it will show you how many videos it will import and that they're imported. And now you see them slowly appearing in the video database, and in the database itself, you're now free to use it however you want. You can add additional fields. You can hide columns. The tool expects name, date, and video ID to be there if you want to do it again in the if the playlist updates. But you can update the sorting, the displaying, the views. You can change all that. So if I do it again here, I deleted number 24, the latest one, and now it shows, hey, you're missing one. We sync it again, and then it appears again. Those are the two tools that I wanted to show to you today. The important thing is free tools, better site visits, better SEO, hopefully. And I find marketing and SEO pretty difficult, and building tools comes naturally to me. So that's why I wanted to build a tool. And it's useful for my wife, it's useful for me. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed listening. If you'd like, subscribe, like the video, rate the podcast if you're listening to the podcast, and give a rating in the podcast app. That would help me a lot. And have a good day. Bye.